Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. It is the 18th of June. Let's take a look at the S&P. I mean, today we've had the Fed. Not a lot of information came out of that meeting. Tomorrow we have a holiday here in the U.S., so the markets will be closed. I think the futures will keep running, but there'll be not much action going on tomorrow until Friday. So the markets managed to close once again today towards the low of their price action bar. And this is now, I mean, if you notice here, we have like 3 days that are closing towards the lows. To me, that continues to develop as a signal for the short side. I mean, that's the expectation based on what I'm seeing in here. I could be wrong, and the market obviously can rally. Doesn't matter what I believe, but based on the price action here, I tend to favor a move lower, and to get a little bit more of a retracement again, maybe possibly even towards 57, 67 over the upcoming weeks. So that's where I'm at on the S&P 500. Not a lot has changed, obviously, in the terms of the wave count. There's no point in going to the smaller time frames because there's nothing there. Sure, there could be that this is maybe a fourth wave and the market will squeeze one more push and then fail. So I'm going to be watching for that. I think I mentioned that before, but that's my thinking. A lot of stocks are acting weird. There is a lot of movement into very high beta stocks. Risky stuff. I just looked even at Circle today. Circle was up like, I don't know, upwards of almost 30, if not more than 30%, even in the after hours. There are a lot of stocks that are very, very frothy with the market, where the mags are struggling to advance. The market is kind of moving sideways. So I don't know, it's a very interesting and a bit of a weird behavior here as we're getting close to new all-time highs in the markets. So I'm looking at Tesla, for a potential short here. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let me also show you now. So this is kind of my my framework right at the moment, right? It's my baseline that the market should be moving lower based on the action here for the past several days. If I go and I take a look at the distribution, right, they start to continue to accumulate. We're getting a pretty decent volume here on these sell-offs. Now, mind you, it wasn't big, but something to consider. I'm not going to go back to the moving averages because you already know we have the 20-day right below it. So, there's definitely support coming in at about 59.50, this high back here, with these levels. So once we crack that, I think there's a decent chance that we continue to go. So quickly talk about Tesla, and then I'll touch a little bit on Bitcoin. But Tesla, it's interesting here. So I think I've showed the count, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe on YouTube. I got to look it up, but it was basically that this is a declining a 5-wave move in here, right, in a large third wave with the 4 and a 5, and that's a corrective move upwards in a B wave, and then that's a wave 1 of the lows, of this corrective move, which came into the 61.8 retracement of this move, and then we're going to go lower. So why don't I show you the chart? So I'm going to go here, just go to some of my stocks, and just let's look at not a Spotify. Let's look at Tesla here. So this is, kind of one of my counts on the weekly time frames with that decline B. I'm looking for a C below 200, right? So now if I go over and I take a look at the smaller time frames, I was actually expecting Tesla to do one more drop. So it could be that, obviously, since that really hasn't happened, either something is going on and I'm wrong here, or the count is something like this, where you decline impulsively here, then you go up in a wave 2, then you do your, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, and then you do a quick 4, and then you drop in 5, and then you do an ABC in a wave 2 into the 61.8, where you start to have a lot of trouble. And then you also have a big resistance that's kind of right up there. I mean, back in May, this was a level that held before that kind of final push higher in that supposedly Y wave made of an A sideways in B and an up in C. So if that's true, that's kind of a wave B top, how are we counting the moves here? And it's tricky. There's nothing very impulsive to the downside in here to give a lot of conviction. The only thing is that we are kind of sitting in an area of converging moving averages after a pretty serious sell-off, and we're not able to rally and continue to go. So I don't have a count for this. It could be a 1-2, 1-2, and we go. It could be some kind of a leading developing. We'll see. There's also the chance that this can go one more push and just have this as an ABC, some kind of a triangle in X, something like this, and we resolve higher quickly one more time, and then we drop. So I am going to be watching to see if we crack below these levels. 314, I think that's going to be a decent signal to start shorting and see if we can accelerate lower, especially if the market gets weakness. Like I've talked about it in the beginning. Tesla could accelerate if if it decides to move higher. Then I gotta wait and revisit and see kind of where we are, because we're right at 61.8, 78.6. It's at about 345, and I think that's going to be, if it gets all the way up there, things are going to start to look tricky, maybe even bullish at that point. We'll see how we kind of fly out of there, but that's kind of my game plan here. I'm going to be watching. It's a very good kind of trading vehicle. It's been it's been a bit choppy, but the main idea stands. That I continue to look for Tesla to, do a move. What did I do? Did I lost my? Hold on a second. Yeah, I must have touched the key or something, and the wave disappeared. So I found it. So I'm looking basically for this, some kind of a move in some kind of an ABC here for the moment. I don't know if if I look at the larger, I don't want to get into kind of the bigger trend in Tesla and what have you. I think it's too early, but let's just kind of look for something kind of shorter term. Yep, so let's jump onto Bitcoin right now, and that is holding right at the 50-day moving average. Nothing really followed through based on yesterday's weakness. The price session, it is getting very tight up here. I think it will depend a little bit kind of what's going on in the equities, but the cryptos haven't been acting that well. So after this failure close to 110, we kind of started to dip a little bit lower. It's it's kind of a waiting game at the moment for me. So not really bullish, not really bearish, just kind of waiting for some kind of a better signal from here in terms of price action in Bitcoin. There's nothing to do unless you want to scalp short term, support resistance if that's your thing. But right now, I don't think there is much there. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with it. When the markets are closed. But longer term, I'm still bullish and looking much higher. For right now, I do sense that there could be maybe that this could probably come a little bit lower, but let's see what happens. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you, I think I don't know if I'll do one on Friday, if not Saturday. Bye.